You're listening to another episode of the Just Go Bike podcast powered by RAGBRAI. This is the award-winning podcast where we are all about the culture of cycling just for the fun of it. Your hosts are Murph from the Murphology podcast and AP from Parrot Talk. With tales from all over the nation, come for the bikes, stay for the fun, and leave with a smile. And now here is Murph.
Hey, that's me.
And AP.
Hey, that's me. Hi, Murph.
Hey, AP. So this might be telling you too much information, but I was just kind of going through some of my RAGBRAI swag. And to be honest, I was washing all of my bracelets because they got a little grimy with all the sunscreen and grit from being outside. Anyway, I realized I lost one of the bracelets. It's the one that you and I and your intern all got matching.
Yeah.
So I'm very sad about that. But it reminded me that this time of year, post RAGBRAI, you kind of do a pretty intense lost and found project.
Yeah, that's right.
So have you had much luck returning lost items?
We've had fantastic luck this year. I am in charge of the lost and found. I had a couple years off of doing it, and this year I'm back on the lost and found duty, which I love. This is a good thing for me because it's just another fun way to help riders. And lost and found is a service that we provide only to registered riders.
Okay.
So it's a nice benefit that we give to people who ride RAGBRAI and may have lost something along the way. And I send it back to them free of charge.
Okay.
Actually, a great deal of items, multiple wallets stuffed full of cash got returned during the ride.
Really?
Among phones and other items. But so that means now my stash of items that are here in the office is rather small compared to other years.
Okay.
And that's a good thing. Right off the bat, I returned 9 items and I just returned another 6 today. So
Wow.
I would consider that actually a pretty small year, but
Yeah.
if I did make a post on the RAGBRAI blog, so if you go to ragbrai.com/blog, you can see I posted photos of all the returned lost and found items. So if you think you've lost something, you can check it out there, and there's a link to contact me and see if I might have found something that you're looking for. The one other thing that I'll add is that if you don't see the item that you lost, still go ahead and email me because we do receive items through the month of August, and it may still be on its way to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if somebody, like, let's say I find a pair of sunglasses on RAGBRAI, does it make its way to like the merch trailers and then eventually it gets into a lost and found central location?
Yeah, it depends on where it's found, but items generally are returned to volunteers or a state patrol officer or a police officer.
Oh, okay.
Or, yes, to our merchandise trailers or sometimes the SAG wagons. And they all bring the items all the way, they make their way back to the main campground, and we have an information trailer there that looks like our big merchandise trailers.
Okay.
And so all the items are centrally located there. And they do have internet access at that trailer. So if they had a phone or a wallet or something and they could look it up and you were registered, they would have already contacted you more than likely. It's not impossible that they haven't, but it's more than likely that they would have contacted you.
I was present when a woman she already received the phone call from Lost and Found and was there to get reunited with her wallet. And she was so excited. Nothing was missing. She was just giddy about it.
Yeah. Like I said, I can't tell you the amount of cash that we received. I really can't tell you, but it's a lot. And I just returned a wallet today that had $56 in it, which is more than the person thought that was in it when they asked about the lost and found. But
Wow.
if you did receive, or if you did lose a bag of cash, which does happen, like a Ziploc bag of cash, try to tell me where you lost it and approximately how much is in there, and I can work to identify it from there. All cash that does not get claimed, we donate to the Dream Team. So,
cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
it goes to a good cause. We don't go out to eat or get, ice cream with the cash, although that would be fun. We give it to a good cause.
Okay, well, I guess I need to go to your blog and see if my bracelet's there. I'm pretty sure it's not.
It's not there. I'm sorry.
Oh, you already know what it looks like. You're right.
I do. I know what it looks like, and we only have one bracelet in the lost and found right now. So I'm so sorry, but maybe we can get you another one.
You're right. Okay.
I'd say the weird, people always ask me what the weirdest item is in the lost and found. And that's a whole other story if you want to know what the weirdest thing I've ever found is. And we can talk about that some other time in an intro. But this year, probably the oddest thing that we have is a full retainer. Somebody's retainer is in the lost and found. But I'll tell you this, it's in a plastic bag. We are not touching that.
I don't think I would want a retainer back if it was, who knows where it would.
It doesn't look like wet or moldy. It does look clean.
Okay.
But, and those things are expensive. So
yeah, you're right.
It has identifying marks or information on it. So if you did lose a retainer, let me know.
Okay.
And maybe I can reunite you with your expensive mouth gear.
Before you tell your mom you lost your retainer, call Andrea at RAGBRAI.
Yeah, check with me first and maybe I can help you out. Okay, but let's get back to the subject at hand. Who do we have this week for Rider Recaps Part 2, and have any of them lost a retainer?
You know what? I've already interviewed them, so I do not know if they own a retainer, if they've lost a retainer. I don't know that part. But we've got Rohn, Matt, and Samantha. And the only teaser I'll give you is Samantha experienced her first RAGBRAI, her first Century ride, and this is hard for me to say as an Iowan, her first time staying on a farm.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. So let's get to it. A warm welcome to Rohn. How are you doing, Rohn?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you.
Good. Thanks for being on the podcast. Will you tell listeners where you live and if there's any sort of cycling culture there?
I live in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Been here for a couple of years. Was in Iowa before that, but there is a cycling culture here. There's a couple of different groups that do rides. There's gravel rides and trail rides. Not a very extensive trail route. It's not like being in Des Moines area where there's
trails everywhere. Yeah.
70, 80, 100 miles where you can get out and really go some distance, but it's still expanding. So.
Mm-hmm. And when you look at Sioux Falls, South Dakota, I know I've been there, but I just don't recall. Is it pretty flat or are there hills? Does it feel like Iowa when you're there?
No, it's not like a waffle. It's fairly flat.
Okay. So then I'm going to be curious what you thought of the hills on the route this year.
It seemed like I had put in the miles, so the hills weren't too bad.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you done RAGBRAI before?
I have. This is, I think, my 8th full ride. I've done some partial rides as well.
Ah, and you said you used to live in Iowa. Were you in a community that ever had RAGBRAI come through?
Yes, I lived in Orange City, actually.
Oh, yes. We were just there.
Right.
Hopefully you still had friends or family that were around you could show off that you're biking.
It's pretty fun. I ride with the Tall Dog Bike Club.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So there was a group of us when we left Orange City. We happened to go by my son and daughter-in-law's place. The route went right by their driveway. So my son was deployed into Syria with the Iowa National Guard, but my daughter-in-law and their new baby and 3 other kids, so 4 kids total, were on the driveway, and they met us there.
I love that. That's so awesome.
Right. And they were just, they're all, I think at the time the oldest was 5. So they were just amazed with all these cyclists, and then to have 4 or 5 tall dogs show up all in the same jersey, and, they're like, whoa,
yeah,
this is interesting.
I think the Tall Dog team has a really cool story. I don't know if you want to briefly talk about your team, because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, they celebrated their 50th year riding RAGBRAI this year.
That's amazing. And it's a huge team, isn't it?
It is. There's, I'm going to say close to 300 riders total, or members. And I think this year we had close to 200 ride, maybe 175 ride the 50th year with us.
Wow. AP and I, gosh, this was probably 2 or 3 years ago. We actually had a little bit of free time. So we went to the Tall Dog camp and got the tour. I believe Kevin was the one that gave us a tour and showed us how the showers work and how the charging stations, and it was a nice setup. I don't know if you still have it that way, but it was cool.
We do. We constantly improve it every year.
Mm-hmm.
So we call that our gallows. You know, one side opens up into 6 showers and the other side opens up into kind of a coffee water station. And then inside we have enough charging for more than 200 devices.
Wow. And then I'm assuming a couple generators come along with you?
Yes. So we need water, and then we have 2 generators running. And yeah, it's a pretty neat setup.
Wow. Well, tell me about your RAGBRAI 53 experiences.
It was really good. I did have a medical issue the first day with all that heat, and but recovered and ended up doing the ride. I think it was day 3 coming out of Guthrie Center that I had met a gentleman that we talked for probably 45 minutes. I really enjoy how RAGBRAI gives riders that license plate. And I find myself riding up on riders who have a 0 and asking them how their first year experience. It's a great opener to start conversations.
Yeah, I agree.
I probably do that, I don't know, 100 times throughout the week. So coming out of Guthrie Center that morning, there's a group of us riding together. I think maybe it was after we got through Perry, the meeting town. I noticed a rider in front of us. He had nothing. He didn't have a 0 or anything written there. So I just rode up to him and said, "Hey, Bob, how's your first RAGBRAI going?" He goes, "Actually, this is my second."
Oh.
I said, "Oh, you didn't have anything on your license plate, so I assumed it was your first. So congratulations on your second. It must have been good enough to come back for more, right?"
Yeah.
So we just talked for a couple of minutes, and it didn't take more than a couple of minutes to find out that, he was from Florida. I think he said Madison, Florida. Anyways, so, once he asked me where I was from, and, I said, well, originally from California, because I kind of talked about I'm in Sioux Falls now, and I used to live in Iowa, but originally from California. He goes, "Oh, I've been in California a few times." "Oh, really? Where at?" And he says, "Well, Bishop, California." I said, "Well, that's where I was from, Bishop,
wow.
California." So come to find out, about the same years I hiked Mount Whitney out in California, he hiked Mount Whitney about that same time. This is going to date me a little bit. That was like 1989. So come to find out, he also was an avid skier and skied in Mammoth, and I was a skier in Mammoth area as well. And
Wow.
I'd been to Hawaii, and he had been to Hawaii. So it was just kind of fun to find out more of his background. And I ended up calling him a brother from another mother. And we just kind of laughed and shared stories back and forth. And it was good to meet Bob. And, that's what I like about RAGBRAI is just those connections you make with people. You may only see them once or twice.
Right.
But it's a great experience.
I think it's amazing when you have conversations like you did and you have so many things in common from years past. But then for me, I will always see those people at least one more time throughout the week, which I always find just mind-blowing when you have that many people. And then, for example, your friend Bob from Florida, there'll be a time when you see him again and you're just like, how the heck could that have happened twice?
Right. There was a woman and her daughter riding a tandem that I had that same experience. That I think I saw her the last 3 days, and each time would ride up and say, "Hey, Susan and Riley, how are you guys doing?
Oh,
You still making it through?" And she told me the story of their riding together and their sons, not really into riding, but he's setting up the tent and getting the camp organized for him. So it was just fun, and checking in with somebody on multiple days. That's right about it's interesting how out of 30,000 plus riders, you bump into that same person over and over.
Yeah, yeah. And, part of it's probably because you have the same pattern of getting up and getting on the road at the same time and maybe stopping at the first stop at the same time. But I always felt like I was a little bit different every day, where if the line was too long at the first breakfast stop, I'll go to the next one. But then, there's a good chance that people are having the same thoughts and doing the same thing. So it was cool.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
What was your take on the heat and the hills and I guess a couple days of headwind?
Maybe like Iowa, South Dakota has, if it's not windy, it wouldn't feel normal. So the headwind probably wasn't that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I had put in enough miles prior to the RAGBRAI to not have the hills be too treacherous this time, but probably it was just a matter of slow down a little bit, drink enough water.
Yeah.
And I guess on those ones, make sure you don't go through every single town without noticing the town,
Right. And I was just going to ask you if, like you just said, make sure you notice the town, but if you had any advice that you would give people that haven't experienced their first RAGBRAI yet.
Something that someone told me early on, I think it was before my even first full RAGBRAI, was put in enough miles. His advice was somewhere between 1,000 and 1,200 miles before RAGBRAI, so that the ride itself isn't so harmful on the body that you're unable to experience the event.
Oh, right.
So if you've got enough miles underneath you that you can just ride it, and you don't mind stopping here and stopping there, and instead of stopping and laying in the grass and trying to recuperate, we're stopping at libraries, we're stopping in coffee shops, we're visiting with the little kids that have made bracelets along the road and talking to them about their story. And which, by the way, I bought a bracelet from a granddaughter and brought it back to her when I got home.
I bought one as well from a gal. She had like every bracelet possible, and they were tied on little wooden dowels, and she had them all by size, and you could tell she put a lot of effort into this day. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, future business owner right there.
Yes, exactly. Perfect entrepreneur.
Right.
Well, Ron, I appreciate your time and telling us a little bit about your stories. Did you and Bob at least share information that you'll get to, maybe engage in conversation with him again?
That's one regret I have, is I didn't ask him for his contact information.
Yeah.
That would have been fun to catch up again.
Well, chances are good. I mean, you know how RAGBRAI miracles happen every day. You'll probably see Bob next year on RAGBRAI.
Right. The only other thing I would mention was I ended up doing the Karis Loop.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the first time I've ever ridden technically over 100 miles in one day.
And are you happy you did it?
I am. That was fun.
Not everybody can say the word fun when they talk about 100-mile bike ride, but you're right. On RAGBRAI, everything has its own version of fun.
I look back on it, and I'm very glad I did.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you again next year, maybe.
All right, Murph. Thank you so much.
You bet.
We will be right back.
Dear Friday, Toyota says let's put good times in gear with the Tundra, Tacoma, and 4Runner. Want some cool available features? We've got power tailgates to power game days, and a trailer backup guide that's the champ of the Ram. Heck, we might even cancel Monday. Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Now, back to the show.
Next up, we have Samantha. Hello.
Hi.
Tell the listeners where you're from and a little bit about, RAGBRAI this year, if you did it with a team or family or solo.
So I'm from Gardner, Maine, but I've been living out in Kansas City now for about 8 years. And I did RAGBRAI with my boyfriend and his parents, which was really amazing. They were able to help SAG for us and everything. So it was a really great, first experience for me doing RAGBRAI, to have the expertise of them having done it before as well.
Sure. So were the parents kind of like your support drivers and then you and your boyfriend pedaled?
Yeah. So they swapped out. And so his mom would bike with us one day and then his dad would be the SAG and then the next day they'd swap out.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it worked really well for them. They've done the whole thing multiple times at this point. So I think they were excited to get a break, but still be able to do parts of it with us.
Yeah. And what better way to, if you've done RAGBRAI a few times, than to go with somebody who's new to the whole experience. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's a spoiler. How many times have you done RAGBRAI?
Yeah. So this is my first time.
Okay. So in your whole life, right, you've never done RAGBRAI. And then what brought you to the place where you said, this is my year?
Yeah, I think I've been riding out in Kansas City doing group rides for a couple years now, and I really like biking. I grew up biking with my parents. We've done some bike packing trips and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, biking was on my radar, but I had never heard of RAGBRAI before I moved out here and made some friends with some Iowans. So it had never been on something I had thought about before, but like I said, my boyfriend had done it before and he talked about how great it was. And I was like, oh, this really sounds so much fun. I really want to give it a shot. So I was really worried about it because I had not ridden more than 70 miles in one day prior to this.
Yeah.
But we trained for it and everything. So I think, it ended up being a great experience.
And if you think back to before you went, I'm sure there was a little bit of nervous energy that was in play. How would you compare what you thought RAGBRAI would be like versus what it actually was like?
It was about what I expected.
Oh,
I
good.
think the biggest thing, because I knew it would be a lot of people, but I did not realize how many people it would be, especially later in the week, I think more people joined. The first 2 days was crowded, but it wasn't I don't remember having to wait in line for most things. But then by day 6 and 7, I was like, oh my gosh, the line for the ice cream stand is 20 minutes, but I'm going to do it anyway because ice cream's amazing. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, tell us about a few, experiences that you want to share during your first RAGBRAI.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from me is just really how the generosity of everybody that we ran into. We were lucky enough to stay with the hosts in most of the towns, and so people were willing to open up their homes for strangers. And I remember the first person we stayed with, she was like, oh, I want to cook you dinner. And we're like, oh, we're really trying to support the, local places or whatever. And she was like, oh, well, in that case, let me treat you to the local church's food. And so she paid for us at the church to eat food and everything. And yeah, we stayed with family a couple of times since my boyfriend's family is from Iowa. And so that was really cool to get to meet more of his extended family. One of the times we actually stayed on a heritage farm as well. So it was a farm that had been in the family for over 100 years. And they really they did a good job with fulfilling my whims of oh my gosh, I want to climb up your grain silo and sit in your tractor, and they let me do all that fun stuff. And they brought their show pig out for me to meet their show pig. So it was just really cool to see Iowa farms and all of that as well.
Yeah. So it was a legit farm is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep,
wow.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And then do you feel or when you look at your whole week, were you able to do indoor homestays or were you also camping?
We didn't camp. The closest we got was the first night in Ottawa. We stayed in a shelter house, and that was an interesting experience because we were just sleeping on the floor with 30 other people. That was a bit of a rough introduction because I struggle to sleep sometimes, and so that was kind of hard. But even I don't know, put in your earplugs and you're pretty good usually.
Yeah. I definitely know, as soon as, you missed out on all the tent zipper noises, as soon as people start waking up anywhere from 4 o'clock on, it's just zip and unzip and plastic. And so you missed that experience, but I think that's A-okay.
Mhm.
Did you do the Karis Loop or the 250K or any of the extra like gravel?
Yeah, we did the Karis Loop. So I did the 104 miles, I think it ended up being, which was really challenging, but I'm really glad that I did it. It was honestly, I was really surprised at like up until mile 80, I was feeling pretty strong. And then after that, it was a little bit like, okay, I want to be done now. But weather was perfect for it. So really lucked out there.
Yeah. And I don't really know weather in Maine, but Kansas City is pretty similar to Iowa as far as heat and humidity. Did you feel that those first couple days, or were you A-okay with it?
Yeah, definitely the first 2 days were pretty hot. We got up early. We were like on the road by like 5:50 those 2 days. And so we beat a lot of the heat by getting up early. Um, I was very thankful for those days to not be camping though, because I can't imagine like finishing and then having to go to a hot tent. So yeah, the AC was nice on those days. But yeah, I've definitely gotten used to most of the heat and humidity. But it was really nice the rest of the week. It cooled down. And even the rain we got that last day was kind of nice too.
Yeah. And I'm with you. I don't sleep in a tent anymore. I used to, but we got to give a shout out to all the people that sweat all day long, go take a shower and then start sweating again. And then like your tent, I'm guessing at midnight, your tent was probably, or their tents were probably still, 80 plus degrees in there.
Yeah.
Any other experiences that you want to share, especially as a first timer?
Yeah, I think the other thing that I was a little bit unexpected, but was a nice surprise was just how willing people were to like start up a conversation with you. I think, if you're sitting at one of those large tables, like it's kind of a communal experience, someone will sit next to you. And I think maybe being from the East Coast, I'm just not used to the random conversations people will start with you. And then along with that too, something I had to remind myself is like, a lot of people eavesdrop and a lot of people will chime into your conversation.
Yeah.
And it was actually a funny experience where we were getting water and I noticed that my boyfriend had like not drank that much water. And I was like yelling at him like, Garrett, you need to drink more water. And then a group across from us was just like, yeah, Garrett, hydrate or dihydrate. And a bunch of people just started like shouting, yeah, Garrett, you got to drink water, which was really, he was like, you made me public enemy number one, Samantha, thanks.
So, okay, I'll tell you a similar story that doesn't have anything to do with hydration, but we were at an intersection and it wasn't a state patrol, but it must have been like the county or the local police force were doing traffic control. And it was two different men, and it was obvious that one guy had been in the biz for a long time. Like he was not a rookie. The other guy was. And so as we're waiting to cross traffic, the older police officer was all like, come on, Brad, stop talking to the people, just do your job. And it was so funny because then as we all passed by, everyone was going, yeah, Brad, come on, Brad, learn your job. And it was so funny. And I protected him. His name was not really Brad, but it was just so funny how it became like a joke within all the riders, even though it was kind of at that guy's expense. But I'm sure he learned if he comes back next year, he'll be way better. So how did it feel hitting the Mississippi River?
Really awesome. The tire dip was really fun. I know I had been warned that there might be a really long line to go and do it, but I think either we lucked out with the timing or like something, because it worked out really well to be able to get to the river without too much trouble. So yeah, it was, being done at that point too just felt really nice. Like I loved the experience and everything, but I think by the end of it, I was ready to get back to not being on a bike every single day. Yeah.
And then, okay, so then after a couple good days of sleep and catching up on your laundry and such, do you still feel like, I'm done? Or are you like, I can't wait for next year?
Oh, no, I cannot wait for next year. I was really expecting it to take more like a month for me to want to do it again. But like, I'm already like amped up to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I've been that way for many, many years. So cool. And how about your boyfriend? Do you think he had a great time?
Yeah, I know he actually said that he wasn't planning on doing it again because he's done it before. But he did it since he thought it would be fun for us to do it together. So I might actually have to convince him to do it again, but we'll see.
Well, we have 50 weeks to get him back on track, right?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, Samantha, thank you so much for sharing your story. Does anything like this happen in either Maine or Kansas that you know of, or Missouri? I'm not really sure where you are.
Yeah, I know there's the bike ride across Kansas as well that happens. Although I've heard it's like RAGBRAI, but it's really not like RAGBRAI. I think
Right.
it's such a unique experience.
Yeah.
And I'm not aware of anything in Maine. I think there's definitely some beautiful trails up in Maine, like especially in the Bar Harbor area. You can do the carriage trails up there, but I don't think they have anything like this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's hard to duplicate the feeling of Iowa, what we see, what we do, and how close all the towns are to each other. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast, and we look forward to we'll look forward to seeing you on day 0 next year, and you can tell us how you were able to talk your boyfriend into coming back.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, hey, everybody. It's Matt Robinson on the podcast. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Murph. How are you?
I'm good. We were just talking before pushing record that, it's almost been a week since we finished RAGBRAI, and I mean, it still feels like it was an hour ago.
It does. I've got my countdown for next year going.
Perfect. Well, tell the listeners where you're from and maybe like how many years you've done RAGBRAI.
Sure. I'm from Andover, Minnesota, and this was my 4th ride.
4th? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So what made you decide, like, I'm going to ride RAGBRAI this year?
A good friend of mine named Wayne called me in 2022 and said, hey, there's this thing called RAGBRAI. Do you want to go? And I said yes instantly. And he's like, maybe you should watch a video or 2 first. And he was right. I wasn't ready for that year, but the following year for the 50th, I was ready.
Yeah. And do you typically ride with a team or are you solo?
I ride with Team Wolverines. It's kind of complex. And my brother, who's a raccoon, that's what we call him, raccoon. Melissa is Elsa. Her son Sawyer is the kid. My buddy Wayne is Do-Rag. There's Sinu. And there's a guy named Steve who we call Can't Get Right. Some or all of the team is at RAGBRAI every year. I'm always there.
And do you have a nickname?
I do. I'm called the Heat because I don't deal with the heat very well. So my great friends and family call me the Heat. Yeah.
Well, that's a great segue into talking about the first couple of days of RAGBRAI. How did you do?
I did okay. I really trained hard this year. I wanted to kind of head off that heat at the pass, and it worked out. Thankfully, we only had those 2 days really that were hot.
Yeah. And do you and your team, do you typically like camp tents, or are you RV, or are you homestays?
We have stayed with charters all of our years so far. The first year was out-of-staters, and then pork belly ever since. So always in tents. Yeah.
And is it the kind of setup where they set the tents up for you?
I do that, and my friends make fun of me for it. But most people in our group have their own tents.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great option when you come back to have your tent there and your bag there.
I was going to say it's a little bit bougie, but why not, right?
A little bit. Mm-hmm.
Well, give us some specific like RAGBRAI experiences that you want to share with the listeners.
I have one short one, and then I'll talk about Earlville.
Okay.
I went on a pie quest this year. I wanted to have as many different kinds of pie as I could and eat as many slices as I could. It's harder than it sounds. You can find pie, but you're not always hungry for pie. And then sometimes you can't find pie. Seems like apple's always available. I made it 9 slices this year. It's a new record for me. So, yeah, that was really good. And there was a banana cream pie.
Oh, yeah. I saw that line was so long when I came through. I don't know if it was for you, but people were saying it was worth it.
Yeah, and it was. It was delicious. I think that was probably my favorite, likely. There was a wild berry. We were camped one night. I think it was in Dyersville. It was. And rustlers came through, and they had bought too many pies to sell. And they were trying to sell them for $5 each. I'm a sucker. So I had a whole wild berry pie.
Wait, does that count in your 9 pieces? If you ate the whole pie?
That counted for, I didn't eat the whole pie. I could only manage one piece, but I counted one. Yes.
I was picturing you sitting in front of your tent just with a spoon and the whole pie.
I'm not above it. I'm not above that. And then I would like to talk about Earlville. They really, that was a town that had the Friends theme.
Yeah.
It was on day 6. It was a short day. They had great music. They had great signage on the way in, pivot, excellent quotes. I think the population of that town's only about 780 or something like that. I swear they were all there working. And like I said, short day, eight or 9 miles left. And I'm sure Back Pocket was out there somewhere, but Earlville really filled that hole for me.
I love that they had couches set up here and there, and you could actually feel like you're on the Friends set, and sit down and get some photos.
Yeah. I think the mayor was a person who was taking pictures.
Oh, God, that's awesome.
Yeah, I met a person whose name is Mama Loon. Now, I'm from Minnesota, and Mama Loon is also from Minnesota, but I hadn't met her. There are these people who wear a loon head on their helmet.
Oh, okay.
She's, in her 70s maybe.
Wow.
And been doing RAGBRAI a long time, and she was ready to have a beer and laugh and sing and dance. It was excellent. One beverage became 2, and then I had a BLT that changed my life, and then 2 beverages became 3. It was fantastic. It was my favorite town by a lot.
And did Mama Loon know how to make the loon sound, the bird sound?
I don't know if she did. It was loud, though. It was loud.
And then did you make it to Field of Dreams?
I did. It was very crowded, and it was misty. It was a really cool day. I feel like day 7's always kind of like a race day. It was a blast, though. It was really cool to see the Ghost players there and to be, kind of dodging people hitting fastballs out there. I got to see that. It was really cool. Did you get to go to Perry and hang out there this year?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I love Perry. We typically do a bike ride there a couple times throughout the year because the bike trail is so beautiful. But got to hang out at the Hotel Pattee for a while. And I love all the artwork that is within that small town.
Hotel Pattee is, for me, it's kind of like, actually, Perry is kind of my unofficial hometown in Iowa, and I'm not from Iowa. I go there for spring break because it's about 10 degrees warmer. I'm a teacher. I can ride a little bit. I keep threatening to do Burr, and you girls do a great job of talking about that. I'm going to get there someday. I have no excuse. I bought a fat bike. I have studded tires. I just got to drive down there and do it.
And it's regardless of the temperature. That ride exists in Perry, Iowa.
Oh, yeah.
I think Definitely. It's the first Saturday in February. So you listeners out there, think about what Iowa can be like in February. And then, make it a tiny day of RAGBRAI in February.
Guaranteed no mosquitoes and no sunburn. So bonus.
That's true. What else do you have?
Well, I would talk about Expo. Expo is my third favorite thing. It's kind of like all the people are there. It's finally all come to a head. You've got Just Go Bike is there. BBB Adventures is there. Facebook Newbies has a meeting. Matt Phippen is available and talks to everybody. All the vendors are there. You could show up there with a wallet and nothing else and totally outfit yourself for RAGBRAI.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you could probably even get a bike.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. A brand new bike and everything, yeah. And then
I always say I'm not going to buy a jersey, and I always do.
Yeah, I can't believe how much stuff I came home with, and I didn't wear most of my evening outfits because we typically would podcast after I got done pedaling, and then I would be like, I don't want to go back to my camp, which in parentheses is my hotel, and then try and make it back. Once you take a shower, I might be done for the night. So I had a lot of clothing I never wore, but then I bought so much more stuff too. But some of those t-shirts were just awesome.
Oh, there were so many good t-shirts. I liked Red, White, and Moo. Are you kidding me? It's perfect. On the Century Day. I mean, what a perfect day that was too. It was my first century that I'd done on RAGBRAI. Weather was perfect. It was great.
And then you have to share with us your experience of those last few miles, heading to the Mississippi River. It's always very emotional for me, but I'd love to get your take on that.
I tend to ride solo. I'm there with a group, but I'm a little bit impatient as far as getting the group together, so I tend to ride solo. But I always see the same people. And there was a gal named Jenny who's from Washington, Iowa, who I saw every single day of RAGBRAI. And she was in the vicinity. But there was that really steep hill. I think I hit 47 miles an hour. And there was kind of a group of people that were, they knew enough to go fast, how to go fast and how to be in a group. And we got down to the bottom of that. And these are people that I've never met before. We were all high-fiving and just like kids. I'm 54 years old and we're hooping it up like we're kids. It's just, that's the beauty of RAGBRAI. I don't know any of them and they're all instant friends.
47 miles an hour. Seriously?
I know. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
I love it.
Wow. Yeah. I was actually feathering my brakes, but it was just because of, too many people were around me to let loose. But yeah, that was
That's
a
a good reason to do that. Yeah, it was. And then you get into town and you've got 11, it says welcome to Dubuque and you have 11 miles to go. I was like, wow, that's and all the hills were after that. All the hills. Manny Thippen, he warned us. I didn't believe him. They were all there.
And I was overwhelmed with the amount of people sitting on the curbs cheering us on. And like you said, it was 11 miles to get to the river. You were in Dubuque, but people came out just to cheer us on.
They did. My favorite is the little kids. They've got out there with a bell or whatever. I'm a teacher and I kind of have a soft spot in my heart for those little ones.
Yeah.
And seeing them all out there, it was excellent. Mom and dad out there watching them close and them cheering us on. Good job. You're almost there. One more hill.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. And I think the sign that was at the top of the last hill said it was the last hill. And I think it was actually true. You know how sometimes you see those signs and you're like, is it?
Yeah, I love those signs. So I have adopted that. We'll be in the middle of the pack on day 1 on mile 4. And I'll always say, yeah, this is the last hill I've heard.
Oh.
This is it for us. No more hills after this. Anyway, yeah, I think that was true on that sign though.
I think so. Well, do you have any advice that you would give to maybe people listening that are saying, okay, I got to do this ride one year?
Yeah, just pull that Band-Aid off. November 15th, registration will be available. Just register. Around about January 20th or so, the route will be announced, and you'll be able to go with a charter, or whether you want to just go with the RAGBRAI bag service or join a team, just go. You'll never regret it. I don't know anybody who regrets going to RAGBRAI.
Yeah.
Just go.
Yeah. And I was going to say just go bike, but
yes, just go bike. Ding ding.
And are you somebody who waits till the route comes out before you decide you're going to go, or do you go no matter what?
No. Third week in July, I'll be in Iowa.
Yeah.
It doesn't. As soon as the registration opens, I register. And I think everybody should register. And as soon as the route comes out, I call up Pork Belly and get my spot.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Matt, and talking. It's always fun to see you because I typically will see you several times during the week.
Yeah, I find you girls. Great to see you too. Thanks for having me on. This has been great.
You bet.
Well, listeners, that is it for today. We want to thank you for tuning in to listen to the Just Go Bike podcast. If you would like to contact Murph and AP with a comment about the podcast, or maybe even you have a topic in mind, you can reach us at justgobikepodcast@gmail.com. Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook and watch our intros on YouTube. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast, especially if you're a fan. That is going to do it for this week. Until next time,
just go bike.
Theme song by Ryan Steer, logo by Suzanne Milosevic, produced by Kathy Murphy, social media by Andrea Parrott, intro by Pumpkin. Until next time, just go bike.